Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Newmarket Racecourse here on Saturday. It is the 28th of September 2024. Gonna look at the stakes action on today's program from Newmarket, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean around the world. Remember to join me this week for today actually for my Woodward preview from Belmont at the Big A. Also, you have the California Chrome from, or not the California Chrome, the California Crown from Santa Anita, a new kind of race that's worth $1 million. Very good British Cup prep races on both sides of the coast here in the United States, and also in the UK. You have some great final month of action for the flat season. Some good 2-year-old races. So we're gonna look at the stakes race from Newmarket right now. Races 2, 3, and 4. We're gonna throw in the Cambridgeshire also, so the 5th race. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 150, 225, 3 o'clock, and 340. So let's get to it right now. Second race, the 150 from Newmarket. It's a Group 2 Royal Lodge Stakes. It's a Group 2 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $159,000. Race for 2-year-olds here. 7 horses are contesting 1,600 meters or 1 mile on a very heavy rolly mile turf course. Gonna take the 4-horse Luther as a top selection. 475 for me in the TriCash trifecta. 475 TriCash trifecta, top selection of 4-horse Luther. 2-year-old colt by Frankel here. Charlie Fellows trains. Kieran Schumark gets the mount. The horse's most recent ad came to the Ascend Stakes at Haydock, 1 mile the 7th of September, and he won by 2 lengths that day, and he came from a little bit behind from his previous races. He sat back early, slowly moved his way into the race. When he had the turn of foot, he really took off clear and won basically in a trot. Refreshing here, he's going to have to come to heavy ground for the first time, which will be a question for him, but the way he runs, he's a versatile type. He set the pace, come from behind. I think he could, change to the ground and run a good race here today. He ran 2 back in the Stonehenge Stakes at the Salisbury, 1 mile, and a listed race on the 14th of August, where he finished second by a half a length that day. And he was with them early on. He was in the drive. New Century just had the jump on him, was the next start winner. But this horse, he got down the race course okay in that small group of horses. And then prior to that, on debut at Salisbury back in June, 7 furlongs in a Class 4 main race. He won by 1/4 lengths that day. He didn't get out of the gate so clearly, which was a little bit of a worrisome that day. But after that, he sat back early, slowly moved his way into the race, and he got the job done. A very good race on debut after all said and done, after all the mishaps at the stalls. Really improving a lot. Coming here today at 2-1. I know he's not the, I know it's not the best price in the world, but he could definitely win. I think the 7-horse Wimbledon Hawkeye for James Doyle and James Owen could win also. He ran in the Acomb Stakes at York a few weeks ago with the 7, where he finished second by 1/4 lengths that day, and he just couldn't catch the winner. He outran his 22-1 odds that day, but he still needs something more. Prior to that, in the Superlative Stakes in Newmarket over the 7, he finished third by 3.5 lengths. Again, having a good turn of foot from where he was on early in the race here at Newmarket. He got up the July course hill well. Needs something more, but not a bad race in the feet. And then prior to that, he ran at Kempton on debut in a Class 4 novice race, winning by a neck that day. Again, 28-1. He's been, he hasn't been shorter than 20-1 on post time here on the Tote State side. But again, on the front end, he got the job done. He looks like the kind of horse, he's going to get better with some more ground. He's getting the mile for the first time. At 3-1, I'll give him a shot here. He could definitely win, so we'll use him in the place pot. But to recount my selection for the 150, the second race from Newmarket, it's the Group 2 Royal Lodge Stakes. We're going to use the 4-horse Luther as a top selection. We'll give kudos to the 7-horse Wimbledon Hawkeye. 475 TriCash trifecta. 4-7 in the multi-race. The third race now, the 225 from Newmarket. It is the Group 1 Cheveley Park Stakes. It's a Group 1 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $370,500. Race for 2-year-old fillies. 8 horses are going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the Rolly Mile. I'm going to go with the 2-horse Babouche as a top selection. I'm going to go 2-4-5 in the TriCash trifecta. 2-4-5 TriCash trifecta. Top selection 2-horse Babouche. Does 2-year-old filly by Kodiak here. Jedmon Owens, Dur Lyons trains this one. Colin Keane comes in to ride this horse from Ireland. He's an Irish-based horse. Most recently ran in the Group 1 Phoenix Stakes at the Curragh, 6 furlongs, 10th of August, where he won by 1.5 lengths that day. And from a tracking trip, he really took off clear. He got the lead. He was getting used to the wire, but he just went away with it. Keep in mind, Whistle Jacket was a next start winner who he placed behind, so he got, he he beat a good horse home that day for the O'Briens. He's running in the next one. Might be one of the best Tyrrell colts in the country in Europe right now. But he took off clear, beating the boys that day. Prior to that, in the Anglesey Stakes at the Curragh, 6 furlongs on the 21st of July, he won by a half length that day. And again, sat back early. Again, had to be used a lot to get the good turn of foot. He did just that. A very good going away victory there. And then on debut, Cork, 6 furlongs in Philly's main race, won by 5 lengths at 83 cents a dollar. It seemed like everybody and their mother knew the horse was going to win, and he did that impressively, winning on the front end, basically won at the quarter pole. A very easy run for this horse that day. Refreshing here at 3-2. I know she's not the best price in the world, but she's a very likely winner. And like I said, I think she might have beat the best 2-year-old in the country home. If there's a horse that could possibly upset here, the Vora's Daylight from France for Miguel Barcelona could win also. It's True Colt by Earthlight. True Affiliate by Earthlight, excuse me. She ran the pre-morning against the boys last time out, where she wasn't catching Whistle Jacket, but she got down the race course decently, beating, against the boys. Prior to that, in the Prix de Cabourg, she finished, she won by 2 1/4 lengths that day, and again, she won under the drive, excelling that day. And then the Prix de Bois at Chantilly over the 6, she finished 3rd by 2 lengths. Again, she just couldn't get there late, but she ran her heart out. Refreshing here. I'm going to give her a shot 7-1 as a possible upset, but I think your very likely winner here is the Babouche horse from Ireland. But to recap my selection for the third now, the 225 from Newmarket, it is the Group 1 Cheveley Park Stakes. Going to take the 2-horse Babouche. Give kudos to the 4-horse Daylight. 2-4-5 Tricast Trifecta. 2-4 in the quad pod or the place pod. With we have 2 races here that can connect them, so we'll decide what we play on the day. But let's get to the 4th race now. The 3 o'clock, it's featured on the program, or co-featured with the Cambridgeshire. The 4th race, it is the Group 1 Middle Park Stakes. It's a Group 1 event for going for a purse of $370,500, race for 2-year-olds here. 8 horses are contesting the 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the Rolling Mile. I'm going to take the 8-horse here, Whistle Jacket, as a top selection. 8-7-1 for me in the Tricast Trifecta. 8-7-1 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection, 8-horse Whistle Jacket. 2-year-old colt by No Nay Never. Ain't O'Brien trains one for the Coolmore Group. Ryan Moore gets the mount. This horse was impressive, I thought, in the pre-morning last time out. The Group 1 pre-morning at Deauville over the 6th on the 18th of August on soft ground. He won by 3/4 length. 2-1 favorite. He had a good settling trip. He quickened up nicely, and he went away with it. A very good, strong run. They think highly of this horse. They bought him for just over $500,000, nearly $750,000 last season. And since then, he's been running quite nicely done. With his partnership, owners must be, very happy. Peter Brandt is a co-owner with Coolmore on this one also. So they must be happy, because he went impressively last time out at Deauville. He ran 2 back in the Phoenix Stakes at the Curragh over the 6, where he finished 2nd by 1.5 lengths that day, and he was with them early on. I think he set too much fractions that day, which cost him. He just couldn't get there late, but he ran his heart out that day. My cat keeps trying to get under this table, and it's really starting to get annoying as he keeps hitting the thing. There we go. Sorry about that. Sorry. He in the Phoenix Stakes finished 2nd by 1.5 lengths that day, and he was with them early on, saying some wicked fractions, which cost him late. Babouche had the jump on him, but he ran his heart out behind him that day. And the July Stakes at Newmarket over the 6, won by 1.75 lengths. He had to be used a lot that day, but he got the job done. A little bit too romantic. He didn't want to change the leads a few times that day, which cost him. And in the Norfolk Stakes, he finished 4th by 1.25 lengths that day, and he was on the front end. He had the lead, got overtaken by Shareholder, who had the jump on him, but again, he ran his heart out. Again, he has a lot of pace here. He's drawn well. He's handled some given the ground. I'm going to give him a shot here at 4-5. Like I said, I think he's his last 2 races, he really showed a lot that day, and I think he might be one of the best 2-year-olds in Europe right now. I think the 7-horse Shadow of Light for William Buick and Charlie Appy is a very interesting horse. I didn't think his gimcrack wasn't half bad. If Whistle Jacket goes a little bit too fast on the front end, I think Shadow of Light could pick up some pieces. He finished 2nd last time out in that gimcrack, where he saw a good pace in front. He just missed late, where he's staying the trip well. He's the kind of horse I think he might want to do a little bit better with the mile trip, but I think he could find a trip going 6 today. He ran at Newmarket on the July course prior to that, in a novice race back in August, where he won by 2 lengths that day, and from a tracking trip again, he took off clear, and he won at Yarmouth quite easily before that also at 6-1. Coming here today, I'm going to give him a shot on the ticket. I think he could possibly upset here, but Whistle Jacket, he's a very interesting horse, and I think he could do wonders in this race. But it's going to be a very good middle park here, so we go a few ways. But to recap my selection for the 4th at 3 o'clock from Newmarket, it is the Group 1 Middle Park Stakes. Gonna take the 8-horse Whistle Jacket, give kudos to the 7-horse Shadow of Light, 8-7-1 Trifecta, 8-7 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 5th race, the co-featured 340 from Newmarket now, which is the Cambridgeshire Handicap. It's a Class 2 Heritage Handicap going for a purse $222,500. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have an oversubscribed field of 37 horses entered. Only 35 could go 1,800 meters or a mile and 1/8 on the Rolling Mile. I'm going to go take the 26-horse Right at France as the top selection. 26-8 for me in the forecast exacta. Any of these two can win, so we'll use them both in exact forecast combinations and definitely in the quarter place pond. But the top selection, 26-horse Right at France. This 3-year-old called by See the Stars, Jonathan Diaz and Trains, getting the jockey booking of Ocean Murphy today. Most recent outing for this horse came at Yarmouth the 18th of September, which was last Wednesday, so 10 days ago, in a Class 3 handicap. They took him down in class. They probably needed a race for him that day, coming off a long refreshment for this one, and they got one. He finished second by 3/4 length. He was a little keen that day, which cost him, but he was with them early on. A little bit of a turn of foot. Why try for the $20,000 purse when he's running for $250,000 today? Coming here with a quick turnaround. He had a race under his belt. He's drawn very well today. He's a good handicap, 123 pounds. I think this horse could really run a good race and get the job done today. He ran 2 back at Windsor over the mile back in July 15th to be exact in the Class 5 novice race, where he won by 2 3/4 lengths that day. Not the best beginnings that day, but he settled well towards the front end, quickened up nicely, and he went away with it. A very good strong run after all said and done. And then at Windsor over the mile in a class 5 novice, finishing second by nose that day, 40 cents a dollar. He was with him early on. He had the lead. He got overtaken late. He ran his heart out again that day. Even on debut as a cheerleader last year at Linkfield, I thought he had a decent second place finish. I thought he wanted something more, but he got around the race course well. He's refreshing here. He could win. I like that they had him a race off the bench last time out, which he probably needed. Come here second off the bench, he should be rearing to go. I'm going to give him a shot on the ticket. I think the 8-horse at Balmarcra for Charlie Bishop and Eve Houghton could win also. Won back at Doncaster in April quite easily over the 7 in a Class 4 handicap, winning by a neck that day from an all-out trip. He really took off clear. Came back to run the Surrey Stakes at Epsom over the 7 back on yielding ground in May, where he finished 3rd by 9 lengths that day, and he was with them early on. He just kind of yielded late, just a little bit too fast over the ground there. And then they took him over the mile and 1/4 in a Class 2 handicap at Sandown after that on Eclipse weekend, where he finished second by 2 lengths, where I thought he was staying the trip well. And then he ran back here at Sandown over the mile and 1/4 on fast ground back in August, where he finished second by a neck. And again, he was with them early on, just kind of yielded late, but he ran his heart out. He's going to be with the pace setters probably early on. He's drawn well on the inside. I think, we're going to see how far his pace goes here today. He's definitely run races fast enough here to win. 10-1, I'll give him a shot here in the quad pod, but I think your likely winner is the Gosney horse in this one. But to recount my selection for the 5th, the 340 from Newmarket now, it is the Cambridgeshire Handicap. Going to take the 26-horse Right at France as the top selection. Give kudos to the 8-horse, the 8-horse Balmacara. Excuse me, 26-8 forecast exacta, and we'll definitely use them in the quantum plays pot here. Excuse me. But with that being said, good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck everyone.